shit. You know what fucking time it is?
We're back.
Spooky motherfucking Dusk podcast every time. Woo!
It hasn't changed.
Yeah, no, and it gets more and more hype every fucking time, right?
It does, because the guests get more and more hype, right? Like, it's just, I don't know how we keep going, how we're going, but our guest, right? Our next guest, 2 big cosigns, right? You heard it mentioned on DMAC.
The biggest ones too, man.
Right? You heard him mentioned on DMAC that we're going to question, his potential claims on being an illegitimate child of Darren McCarty.
We're not going to do a DNA test, but just shy of a DNA test, maybe.
We're going to get to the bottom of that, right?
Yeah.
Got the biggest cosign from Masada, right? And we're going to talk about that with him, right? Because I think it's major, right? Masada is
major.
Quoted as saying he's going to break out, right? He's got the look. He's got the charisma. He's got the size, right? A cosign from Masada?
Yeah, no shit.
We have been waiting to talk to this guy for, 2-3 weeks?
Yeah,
right?
and man,
schedules.
All kinds of shit's come up, like personal. I mean, it's been on our end, personal shit, scheduling stuff. Like, you had some shit go on. I cracked a crown and fucking had to go to the emergency dentist. Like, bad time. But
fucking here, right?
Here it is. Motherfucking Tommy, motherfucking Vendetta.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Dude.
Thanks for having me on.
It's finally happened. I knew it was going to happen.
Right? We finally got it.
It's fucking awesome, man. I appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us and fucking shoot shit.
Thanks for having me, guys. I've been looking forward to this, man.
I think we should just get into it, right?
I want to give everyone, like anyone that's ever saw Tommy wrestle, whether it be in person or IWTV, and had any kind of notion about his character or I don't like him, like, this dude is so fucking awesome. Like, we've been going back and forth for 3 weeks making this happen. I thought he was going to tell us to eat a bag of dicks and like
no, never, bro, never.
No, and Tommy, you know what? Like, so I was filming. I don't know if you remember, but I was filming backstage stuff at the Horror Slam Deathmatch Cup. Oh, did we lose you?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was lagging a little bit.
Sure.
I came up to you after your match, and it was after the you versus Joel Bateman match. And you're covered in blood, and I'm like, hey, dude, can I get a promo and some photos and stuff? And you're like, yeah, sure. And, I mean, you were so cool about it. Like,
always, dude.
You didn't have to be, though. You could have been like, bro, give me a minute. I'm bleeding all over the place. You know what I mean?
Nah, dude, I'm there for the footage, man. We're just trying to have a good time.
And another thing too is you're like, hey, where do you want me to be? Do you want me to stand right here? And I was like, yeah, just stand here and just do your shit. And I was like, okay, I'm going. And then you hit the switch and you did the thing, and then you hit the switch as soon as I was done, and you're like, hey man, thanks. I really appreciate it. But it was awesome watching you Jekyll and Hyde like that. It was cool.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate that. It definitely is something that I love doing because it freaks people out. Like, especially when I'm at home, like my girlfriend and my mom and stuff, like, come see me wrestle, and they're like, you'll come out and see us like 5 minutes before your match, and you're like, this is gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited. And then like to you, it's into your match, you're just drenched in blood, and you're just like,
there were
like,
actually
you're fucking crazy.
a couple things. There, when you were facing Bateman, you took one of his was it 8x10, and you cut him in the mouth, and you're like, look at you, bro, you came over here and you're leaking. You're like, I got you leaking all over the floor. And I was fucking filming it, just walking around, and I started like laughing so hard I couldn't use my footage because my camera was shaking so hard. That was hilarious, though, man. I loved it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
great footage too, though, man. So amazing.
Oh, dude, we always there for the good footage,
right?
Take it from the beginning, right? Like, we always like to get a baseline. Like, from my very loose research, you've been wrestling 5-6 years, give or take.
Yes. I 5 years ago. Wild ride.
Hang on one second, Tommy. I think we're losing you a little bit. Give me 1 second.
Oh, hold on. Let me pull in my garage and see if that helps the service. We're whipping, dude. We're whipping it. How's that?
Better. Yeah, a little bit better.
Fuck yeah.
All right, nice. I was actually under the impression that you're in Michigan, right?
Yes.
But you're not born in Michigan.
No, I was born and raised in Michigan.
Oh, were you really? Okay.
Yep. I was a Henry Ford baby.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. What city did you grow up in?
I was like right on the border of Commerce, West Bloomfield.
Okay, nice.
So I went to I was at Keith Elementary, all Walled Lake schools.
Okay, man, you're like right in our area. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Nice. And obviously enjoying the benefits of the state marijuana law. I'm going to get in thick if you don't mind.
Oh, indulge with me, brother. Indulge with me.
So what brought you to wrestling originally, right? Were you a fan as a child?
No, kind of like the same thing as everybody. Like I grew up being a fan of it. The only thing that's a little bit different for me is I was a huge fan growing up. When I had a girlfriend in high school, like I remember sitting down and I made her watch The Shield versus the Wyatt family with me, and she was just like,
oh.
And then so I ended up joining the Marine Corps out of high school, and then when I was deployed, it was I want to say Survivor Series 2015, maybe 2016. When Roman Reigns won the title, the confetti was falling all down, and then Sheamus hit him with the brogue kick, cashed in.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Survivor Series, but it was like 3 a.m. because we were in the middle of the ocean, so it's like way different times. And I was like sitting there, I had like kind of drifted away from wrestling for a minute, and I was just watching it marking out huge. I was like, oh my fucking God. And then I got home from the military, and I was like, fuck it, dude, I'm 22 years old. Why can't I? Like, who's gonna stop me?
Wow.
It's a unique one.
You are on such a tear right now. It's really crazy because I mean, like we see you everywhere, but we've also heard so much from other people. Like your contemporaries have spoke very highly of you. You know what I mean? From
I love that.
Chuck Stein, Breyer. Breyer has spoke very highly of you.
I love them.
Spoke highly of you. And I mean, Masada, it was mind blowing. Like I was nervous as fuck to talk to Masada, and the fact that he like co-signed for you.
Did you hear that conversation?
Yes, no, I did. I had a couple of people send it to me, and I was like,
yeah.
I was like, he's talking about me? Okay.
Speaking of the footage, I when you guys went into that Caribbean Spiderweb at the RPW show, I got dope footage of both of you guys falling on that. So I've been holding it out. I put one of Masada getting cut out of the barbed wire for his episode, but I got your fall, and you take a good one. So I'm gonna put that on our Instagram for it. It's such good footage, man.
Every angle I've seen of that looks just as gnarly as it felt.
Oh man, it looks gruesome, man.
Dude, like that's all. Like, hats off to these dudes who are like fucking taking that shit off of scaffolding and shit like that. Because god damn, dude, we fell off the apron and I had a hole in my ass cheek for like fucking 3 weeks.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, that shit was rough, bro. And I didn't even have the worst of it. Like Masada for sure got the worst of it. Because I had hit and it was already coming back up, so then he hit and had to hit it like twice, essentially.
They were actually pulling it out of him. You know what I mean? Like it was like embedded in him. It was the whole thing was gnarly though, but awesome. So appreciate you doing something like that because I popped like crazy. I've never seen the trampoline break be brought out at a show, so that was checking something off of my list. I actually didn't think I would be able to see that in the United States. I
actually said I would never do it. Like maybe a week before the Harpos, I was sitting and me and my girlfriend were watching like best deathmatch wrestling shit on YouTube because I was trying to like get her into it even more. And she saw that and just looked at me like, you are never gonna fucking do that. And I was just like, God no, are you fucking kidding me? And then I showed up at Harpo's and Ricky Shane Page came over to me and he was like, hey, so I talked to everybody and they said you'd probably be down to do it. And I was like, Well, if everybody says I'd be down to, I can't let these guys down. Like, all right, I'll do it. You twisted my arm.
So, you know what, Fran, I don't mean to derail this and stuff, but if we're on a timeline for you getting out of the Marines, right?
Yep.
And deciding that you're going to become a pro wrestler, there, to right now, when you're like, I mean, the hot name in deathmatch wrestling, there's like, what, 5 years?
Yeah, I pretty much when I got out of the military, I got out in like July 2017-ish. And then I just kind of was like mulling about, trying to figure out what I really wanted. Like if I wanted to try and do it, like I was trying to find a school. And then it was like, I want to say December of 2017. I was like, fuck it. Like, let's go. So I just went, I went over to Pure Pro Wrestling. It's in Flint, Michigan. And I trained up there, and then Aaron O'Ryan ended up scooping me up from there as well. And he was like, all right, you know the basics, but let me spit shine you, a little kid.
Okay.
And he kind of tightened everything up. And I was honestly extremely lucky when I broke in, because I was around guys like Rohit Raju,
nice.
Danhausen, Jake Something, Aaron O'Ryan, Jack Price, Lotus. Like I was around all of these like incredible, like all like DBA, the Monroe family, like Malcolm, everybody. Like I was around so many great minds. Trey Miguel was around when I came up. That I feel like for me it was easier to pick it up like way faster, because I love wrestling. I'll put everything I have into this. So when I have people like all of them who are like, oh, you give a shit, take everything that I can give you. And then I'm just like soaking it all in, because I'm like, fuck it. And the more knowledge I can get about pro wrestling and everything, especially from guys that have been there, done that type thing, like I'll take it. And I was extremely lucky in my first like 2 years to be able to be around guys like that.
So I do understand Francis and I are not wrestlers. You know what I mean? So I don't mean any disrespect by this at all by saying this, but from you, I mean, you're trained, and I don't want to say like you're like a regular wrestler, but going from being, you know, standard wrestling, you know, to being deathmatch, did somebody approach you, or did you already have the idea in your head that you were going to go into deathmatch specifically? Because I mean, there's holds, there's submissions, and then there's barbed wire and tubes, and there is a little bit of a chasm between that. Not everybody's going to go towards the deathmatch shit. You know, you got to have a certain type of personality to go for that.
Well, I was a big ECW guy. Like I grew up, I was born in the 90s. So I like, when I was like getting into my rebellious years, I was always like looking back at like old 90s, like ECW, and they were just like fucking Bully Ray's like cussing out the crowd and shit. Like that shit would be hype. I love that. I love the flaming tables and all of it.
Oh yeah.
Like I think for me, the one of my favorite memories is my mom. I conned my mom into letting me buy WrestleMania, and it was I want to say, was it 22 when Foley and Edge went through? Yeah. So I got her to get me the pay-per-view. So I'm sitting there watching it, and my mom's not in the room; she's upstairs, like doing her thing, and I'm just watching them light this table on fire. And I'm like, no fucking way. And they go into it, and Edge is doing his, like, he's like in shock, and like.
Did you see his eye was fucked up at the end? Like like the white was like, we had like a get together pay-per-view, and we were watching it, and we were like, oh my god, his eye might be really fucked up. Like it was gruesome, dude. And then like so for me, that was like, okay, that shit, you're a badass motherfucker if you can do some shit like that. So like I always kind of had that like extreme vibe like that I loved, and I've like for like normal wrestling side, I've always been like a big strong style guy. Like I love when motherfuckers are gonna hit me. Like that shit just, to me, that makes it like even more real than it already is. Yeah.
But I think it was like lockdown hit, and like. Everything was like happening. I was like, the only wrestling I was seeing was that. So it was like reigniting my love for like the extreme. And I was like, fuck it. Like, let's just dive in. Like, no toes wet. Let's just go. And my first one was Jimmy Lloyd at Mr. Chainsaw. And genuinely, like, I went in like a fucking baby bird who didn't know anything about like death matches. Essentially, like I knew the basics of it, and Jimmy Lloyd was like, "Let me show you a thing or two, bud," and just fucking blew my mind during that match, and I was hooked. Like,
Francis,
right
I swear
away.
to God, I'll shut up in a second, man.
No, do it.
So that match with Jimmy Lloyd, that was at what event?
Mr. Chainsaw up in I can't fucking pronounce
Kalkaska, yeah.
Kalkaska, okay.
It was one of the pandemic shows. I can't remember exactly what the name of it was. I think it was actually something
Asshole
like Pandemic.
Yeah, Asshole Pandemic.
But that was your first death match?
Yes.
I am going to have to look that up. But, okay, so before that point, you never did anything deathmatch related?
I did, like, hardcore stuff, but I had never bled. Like, if I bled, it was from, like, getting, like, my nose busted or something like that. Like, it was never...
I got to specifically look that up. Man, this is hype. I've never seen a deathmatch wrestler, and I hope you don't take offense to me calling you a deathmatch wrestler, but...
No, dude, I love that shit.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, wear it with pride, man, you know?
Listen, like people try and say like, oh, it's just deathmatch wrestlers. Like some of these deathmatch wrestlers that everybody tries to shit on, they're some of the most well-rounded wrestlers out there, man. Like
because they're not like killing
Murdoch,
you know what I mean?
Cologne, like,
right.
Even I'm wrestling him on Saturday, and I hate his guts. But you got Brandon Kirk. You know, he's one of those guys that can go out there and he'll have a normal match and have a banger, and then he goes out and delivers in these death matches, and like he's at home in both elements. As much as he's a piece of shit.
Oh man! Wow! All right, Fran. Okay,
no,
it's on you. I'm sorry, man. I got way hyped, man.
No, that's I just love, you know me. I'm all about taking it all in. So like, yeah. So fuck. I know you kind of mentioned like your girlfriend and you guys watch stuff and you're trying to get her all into it, excited. Is there like you mentioned the trampoline. She guys looked over. She was like, absolutely fucking not. How often does that conversation come up, or how often do you come back and say, "Well, I did this tonight," and she gets pissed off?
I wouldn't say she gets pissed off. It's more of like a disappointment.
Oh man, come on!
Like when I went to Tennessee and rode Bev, and Bev gave me a nice little memory of him, which I love, dude. It's my Scary Potter scar. I fucking love that shit. And so I'm on my way home, and I got my head all taped up to like keep the glue from like getting all rubbed up against. I got a hat over it. Completely forgot that I was like bloodied up. Went into like a fucking gas station at like 3 a.m. And then
scared the shit out of everybody, right?
Oh, dude, the lady was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Oh my God, is there still blood on my face?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, no." I was like, I can explain. I did this to myself. And then she was like,
"Oh, that's even worse."
And I was like, "Honestly, I'm just going to check out. Let me get the Gatorade and let me leave." All right. But my girlfriend woke up because it was like getting earlier into the morning. She wanted to check on me. And she was like, how'd everything go? Like, was it good? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, you're not going to be happy. And she was like, why? And I had like a big cut on my back just because like rolling around in the glass happens and shit like that. And then I had the one on my forehead, which that one I wasn't even worried about, is the one on my neck. And I get home and she comes in and I was like, hey, so I need you to not freak out when I say this, but can you glue the one on my neck shut? And she was like, yeah. And like grabbed the new skin, put it all on, closed it up, like held it there.
Fuck yeah, man.
Dude, she's a trooper. As much as she like looks at me and she's like, you're like, why? Like, she knows I love it. Like, even like this week, my shoot job, I was getting pissed off at everything, and she was like, just think about what you have coming up. You have all these cool death matches you're gonna do, like you're gonna have so much fun. And I was like, I mean, hey, you're not wrong.
Right. Same girlfriend that scoffed at the Shield versus the Wyatt family?
No, she's long gone, that one.
the new one that's taking care of you and gluing you shut and stuff, man. You made the right choice, dude.
She's a keeper, brother. She's a
keeper.
Keeper.
There you go. I like it, man.
Hell yeah.
Oh, go on, Brent.
No, you mentioned, you know, this weekend, and it is a major weekend, at least locally, right? And then you also have your match this weekend, which by the time this gets all put together, you would have beat Brandon Crooks' ass.
Fucking right.
Dude, like we mentioned earlier, your name has been like everywhere, right? The ICW platform. Fuck, like, what's the goal for you? What's the end? Do you have like AEW kind of dreams? Or do you want to like just kill it on the indies and just?
I mean, there was a time when you were either WCW or WWF, and then it became Impact or WWE. Now AEW is an option, but I mean GCW. There. All the promotions that are on IWTV, it is possible to be a journeyman because the territories are back. So I mean,
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't want a contract because I mean, if the contract fits the right vibe for me, and I think it would be a good fit. Like, obviously, I would love to have one of those. That's like been a dream of mine. But I'm like starting to realize that I kind of care more about like legacy and shit like that. And I think about dudes who like were never the guy in like the Fed and all these other players, like Sabu. Like Sabu was huge in ECW, and then when they did the WWE ECW, he was obviously huge in that, but it was like never like a John Cena. But like to me, that dude's one of the best fucking dudes to ever lace up his boots. Like the shit that guy was able to think of and do, like. That's fucking incredible. And then you think about guys like AJ Styles, how it took him fucking forever to make it to the big stage. And like everybody's like, you could arguably put that dude up on a Mount Rushmore, like
big time.
That's what like, so like, I'm not too worried. I'm only 5 years into, so like I got plenty of time. Like I'm 27 years old. Like I'm still very young. I'm not even in the prime of my career yet. Like I'm still finding my shit. Like,
let me ask you this: if you go to WWE, you know that they're going to change your name. You know that they're going to like. So what you are, they go the complete opposite. So they shave your beard. You're now Thomas Vendetta. You're Wall Street. You got the pocket watch. You know what I mean? Are you comfortable going in that direction?
He's shaking his head no.
No?
I fucking love it.
That's a big no. That's a big
Really?
I mean, for me, I always want to stay true to myself.
Right.
Because that's
the
what
money,
like,
I mean, six figures.
I mean, six figures, we might have a conversation. But, I mean, like, I always pride myself on like being me. That's partially why, like, when I shifted over to being like a deathmatch guy, and everybody was like, "What are you doing? They can't wrestle." Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Nah, bitch. Like, I'm about to show you where this shit can go." And like, especially with like places like ICW, like I've been extremely blessed to be able to have them in my corner essentially, and giving me the platform to succeed. And especially at like Circus, like last year, the Circus this upcoming year. Like what they've done for even like other guys like Malcolm, Isaiah, like Isaiah and I, that was his first death match ever when we fought in Jersey last. So like,
really,
yeah, he wanted to get his toes wet with it, and I was like, all right, bro, I got you. Let's go.
Wow. Yeah, man. And honestly, Dave, as someone that can't grow a beard because I look like a child molester, he can't shave that. Right? That's
no, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like my beard comes to here, my chin and the beard. like it just got more happening. Like everybody talks about how like, oh, we need to see the girl without makeup, and then they're like, well, we should see the guy without a beard, and I'm like, guys, let's just give them their makeup. It's okay. Don't make them take my beard, because if they take my beard, they're gonna find out that I look like a fucking Slender Man. Like it's not good.
Well, I mean, but like I was saying about like going to like one of the big leagues and stuff. I mean, they will dye your hair. They'll I mean, you'll have blonde hair, and you won't even be yourself. You know what I mean? You couldn't. They could even do something like even weirder, like your name's not even like derivative of like what it is right now. They just give you like a brand new name.
Yeah, it'd be like Malcolm Pennyworth or something like that.
Yeah, right.
And you know what's not going to fly? The Lovable Psychopath, right? Those two things are not going to be fucking anywhere on a shirt.
The Lovable Psychopath is such a good moniker too, by the way, man.
Yeah, it wasn't even me. It was given to me by a fan up in Toronto. She like she was like writing a little story about us. I think her handle on Twitter is Everyday Queen. Shout out to her. And she like wrote this little article up and was like, he strikes me as a lovable psychopath. And I was like, yo, that's fucking money, though.
I'm gonna put that on a shirt. I'm gonna put that on a poster. You know what I mean? Like, fucking lock that down right away. That's great, man.
She sparked basically this like whole revision of what I became now. Like, and I was like, I'm about it. Like, I'm gonna do this crazy shit, and I'm gonna smile while I do it.
Wow, man.
There's two things you just mentioned, and I want to definitely touch on both of them. But I observe, like, when I watch wrestling, like, I like observing, I like watching, and not to discredit anyone else that does it, but when you do deathmatch, I feel like you do it smart, right? Like, and I say that to say, like, you see guys that go out there, and it's like their whole purpose is to, like, hurt themselves and hurt each other, right? But, like, when you wrestle, it's almost like the buildup is there, and it's a smart when the payoff, right? Like, you're not going in there and throwing tubes instantly, right? Like, you're not going, like, there's that buildup. Like, is that like a conscious thing that you're doing to like kind of, because you mentioned you're 5-6 years in to gain that like longevity in the business, right? To keep your body sustaining for years to come?
Honestly, it's kind of just like learned behavior. My second death match I ever had was at RPW against Akira, and that was like by far one of my favorite death matches I've ever had, still to this day. And he kind of structures his stuff in that way, where he likes to not just dive right into everything. And same thing with the Duke. Like, I've gotten the honor and a privilege, and I'm going to have the honor and a privilege to fight him a couple of times coming up here soon. But he's genuinely like one of the best, and I've gotten to sit and pick this dude's brain. Like guys like Eric Ryan, like at the Boston show, Akira and I wrestled, and I came in the back, and I always want feedback. Like, I want to know from guys who like, so I hated anybody watch it, anybody watch it. And Eric Ryan came up to me and gave me some tips and pointers, and I was like, okay, bet, let's go, dude. Like, so I feel like it's more so that I have some of these guys that are deathmatch elite guys, kind of showing me the ropes. Which again, it kind of piggies back to like my original when I first broke in the business. I've just been extremely, I don't know if it's lucky or just being in the right positions somehow, but I've been able to pick the brains of some of who I consider to be the best.
The whole thing with the deathmatch guys kind of, I don't want to say mentoring, but that is somewhat what the correct word, you know. Mm-hmm. It's so fascinating because it goes back to, I mean, that's what's been happening in wrestling. You know, wrestlers, they see something that they like in another wrestler, they try to help out. So, I mean, it's like passed on knowledge. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, even in just the one match with Masada, like just sitting and hearing how things kind of go and with his flow, and then being able to be out there with him and kind of get the vibe of everything. And I was just like, okay, it's just starting to make some fucking sense now.
Can you see yourself at some point kind of doing the same thing? Like, or I mean.
Oh, yeah, I would love to. A lot of the guys in Michigan ask for my tips and pointers, which I'm very grateful for them to think of me in that way. Like guys like Solo Ali, I think he just goes by Solo now.
Yeah.
But he's always asked for, like, every time he has a match, he's like, hey, did you get a chance to watch it? Same thing with Adam Wick. Adam Wick's always he's in our Death Threat Army crew. But anything, like, even if we're not at the show, he'll send the match to us in our group chat, and he's like, hey, can you guys watch this and give me tips and pointers. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little too high and I forget to watch it, but that's okay. Because when I'm there and I watch that shit live, that dude always kills it. And like, that's kind of how I learned in the business, was when Aaron kind of scooped me up and was like, hey dude, I'm going to keep you from making these stupid mistakes that a lot of guys make, and I'm going to show you how to fucking do it. And we're going to just do this shit together. And then it just, with him and me, it just kind of took off. Like, it was like a match made in heaven, essentially.
Very, very, very cool.
Even though Aaron's a fucking piece of shit now.
Well then.
Yeah. Fran, do you got something? Or
no, you mentioned people in your corner, right? We mentioned Aaron Arnott. How did the relationship with Darren McCarty, like, he told us a pretty funny story about you showing up with a DNA test, looking for child support.
I mean, essentially, yeah, that's what happened. I showed up with one of them Ancestry.com things, and I pointed at it, and I was like, that's you, bitch. Like, no, he came to an XICW show at the Hot Rock, and everybody, like, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I was probably one of the biggest Darren McCarty fans growing up. Like, do you guys remember it was like a PS2 game called NHL Hits or Blitz or something like that?
So Blitz would have been the NFL one, so Hits probably would have the NHL equivalent, yeah.
It was where, like, if you got like a goal or like got in a fight and won, your guy like lit on fire. And like, so dude, I would pick the Red Wings because I'm a Detroit boy. So I would pick my three guys, because I think there was like three guys on the ice. It would be Yzerman, McCarty, and Lidstrom. And then my goalie was Hasek or Osgood, depending on my day. So I was like a huge mark for fucking Darren McCarty back in the day, dude. Like, I've legitimately, when my girlfriend told me she liked hockey, I was like, have you ever seen the fucking 97 Brawl? Have you ever seen it? Because I'm gonna fucking show you right now. And then I'm like, so you see how Larionov takes him over there? That was the fucking distraction. Because then you see this, and boom, and she's like, okay. And I was like, yeah, but he's fucking him up. Because you see what happened was Lemieux, piece of shit. He hit Draper, and is a whole thing. And like, dude, straight. So then I'm at the show, I'm stretching out, I'm getting my shit on, and somebody comes in the back and was like, hey, yo, Darren McCarty's here. And I was like, don't you fucking lie to me right now, bro. Because I swear on my fucking mother, I will beat you to death with your own hands. And he was like, no, I swear to God, walk outside. He's sitting outside right now. And I was like, all right, if I go outside and Darren McCarty's not there, I'm coming inside with a chainsaw. So I like grab all my belts and shit, because we were going to take promo pics outside anyway. And I got them all like strapped up, like the fucking all the way up to my chest. Right. And I see this dude around the corner, and I'm like, holy shit, bro, they weren't that's actually him. What the fuck, dude? And then he comes over and he's like, can I get a picture with you? I was like, fucking, can I get a picture with you? Bro! And afterwards, I went home and took an Ancestry.com test, and I found out that he was in fact my father. Probably a 97 Brawl hookup or something like that. You know how kids are, Yeah,
right.
But
wow, man. I just have to throw this in real, because since the Red Wings and stuff, my mom had a Bob Probert jersey that she used to rock back in the day.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying? How amazingly dope was that? Like,
dude, that's fun. Yo, fun story about Bob Probert. Apparently he was in like rehab or some shit like that, and there was like a DN that played in the NFL who was also in that same rehab. Oh. And the DN was like picking on like this fucking dude the entire time, and Bob Probert stood up with fucking just mangled bodies, fucking knuckles and shit. It was like, if you don't stop fucking picking on him, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And the dude stopped. I swear to God, my dad told me that, and I was just like, yo, you gotta be a bad motherfucker to go up to a defensive end in the NFL and that bitch sits down. I was like, God damn, bro.
Bob Probert legitimately was like, decadent rock star in Detroit for a minute. I mean, getting busted, coming over the bridge with cocaine, coming from Canada to the United States with cocaine, didn't give a fuck. I mean,
dude, just a fucking legend, bro.
Out of control, but yeah, so amazing. Anyway. I wanted to ask you about, I know we're kind of all over the place, but I wanted to ask you about, some people have a no list for deathmatch stuff, and just, it's weird to hear what people won't do. Some people don't want to do things, like, we've had some people that are like nothing above the face. Some people are like absolutely no fire. You know what I mean?
Remington Roar said no kendo stick.
Yeah, because he said the kendo stick gets caught up in his hair,
That's fair. That's fair.
And I brought up an electric fly swatter to somebody, and they were like, no. Nope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, do you got a no list?
So here, my no list always changes. So I have a bit of a reputation in Michigan where I'm the yes man. So when someone's like, hey, man, I've been trying this move and I was thinking about hitting on you. I'm like, fuck it, dude. Do it here. Let's fucking do it. And they're like, okay, I've never hit it in a match. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Hit the move. And so like I'm just always like when even when I'm like in the normal shit, like I did a suicide dive into the bleachers and I just told the dude, I was like, hey, just move, I'll hit the bleachers. And he was like, why? And I was like, because that's a sick cutoff, bro.
Yeah, right.
I was like, you'll get hate, brother. And so like most of the time I'm like I usually am like, I don't like barbed wire, and then I fucking fall into a barbed wire trampoline.
Right.
And like, so I kind of don't give a fuck. There's some things like in the moment, if I look at it and I'm like, we could probably not, and be okay. Like I had somebody bring up a thumbtack like wiffle ball bat. The one that Danny got hit with.
Oh yeah, in the head.
They were like, do you want this? And I was like, I mean, I feel like you want that for like later in the show. That, that's like a big thing. Maybe just do you have a popper bat? Like, I'll take that. But my big no is, I would say syringes.
Really?
Just not my fuck. Dude, I see them doing it through the cheeks, and every single time I get like a toothache when I see it. I'm like, huh? No.
Brutus Atwell, when I was filming, he got the gussets on his feet. And that's like one of the fucking grossest things I've ever seen. Like, I'm cringing right now from it. That's fucking hideous. And his feet are dirty, so you know it's going to get infected. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude,
he's walking around a fucking gym barefoot, like.
And then he had to walk to the back. Through all the broken glass to even get the bag. I was like, God damn it, Brutus, wear some fucking shoes.
You mentioned...
So the popper bat you're good with. What about a light tube that's plugged in? Is that weird to you?
Fuck it.
Fuck it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? It's a little hot. Like, I'm okay with that.
Would you say no to the electric fly swatter?
I mean, if there's an opportunity,
really good.
If there's an opportunity for me to get a good smack over the back with it, I mean, it's gonna sting for a minute. But I mean, I seen Jackass. These motherfuckers are like licking fucking tasers. Like, how bad?
They dip their nuts on it, dude.
That's
if their nuts can take it, I touched it. It sucks, but.
You mentioned the syringes, and I couldn't agree more. I have one of my cats is diabetic, so 2 times a day I have to give him insulin with my wife. And one morning I was half asleep, and I missed capping the syringe and stabbed myself right in the finger with it.
Oh, come on, dude!
The worst. So I'm so happy.
Oh, dude, that just hurt my hands, bro.
But you know what, though? You just got to do it one time for the camera, and then you can say you did it.
No, there was no camera. It was my wife and my cat, and nobody understood why I was crying like a bitch. Okay, that's why I asked for the first aid kit.
I ain't even gonna lie. It's always that little shit that fucking hurts the most, dude. Because I ain't even gonna hold you up. I've never cried after a death match. I got home and I was having my girlfriend clean one of the wounds on my back, and I accidentally gave her an alcohol pad instead of like a disinfectant pad.
Oh man.
And that shit hit the cut. Dude, I've never hit the ground harder in my life. I was just laying there and I was just like, oh, don't ever touch me again.
It's the littlest shit, right? Like, you see the salt, the alcohol, the lemon juice all get brought out in matches, and I'm like, never. Like, I used to be a bartender, and
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to do the salt thing. Just because I'm a big Lethal Weapon fan, and I was like, yo, if my man Murdoch could do it in Lethal Weapon, I can fucking do that shit. We'll be okay.
I greatly appreciate, when we're talking about all the things like, like salt and things like that. I appreciate that you had Legos in the match with you and Bateman. I always pop for Legos, and I will always pop for Legos. That's the way it is, man. Legos are, and you guys had Legos on the ground and glass on top of it. It's like Francis messaged me. He was watching like it wasn't Masters of Pain. It was Carnage Cup, but you're like, they lit a light tube on fire, and he was like, why would they do that? Because it's just overkill,
Shit I sent you, and it's a couple things that I could. You want to do the salt thing? Look for me at the circus. You and Bateman, I'm gonna hand you a giant thing of Costco salt during your match. So look out for me to hand you that. But no, the clip I sent you, it was Carnage Cup. It was fucking barbed wire, and they put saw blades on it, lit candles, and then they had it was so much overkill.
But like stacking things up. You and Bateman, you guys set up glass, but then there's Legos like below it, and it's like like the Legos were the bigger sell than the glass. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, yeah.
I love it, man. I love Legos, man. So,
dude, that's my shit. I don't even know how that became like a thing for me, if I'm being 100% honest. I think one time I was in like an Extreme Rules match, and I was like, yo, can I do Legos? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I just did it a couple of times, and people were like, get the Legos. And I was like, okay, I got to start bringing fucking Legos and shit.
The funny thing about deathmatch wrestling is that, tubes, people are becoming not, I don't want to say desensitized to, but, they've seen a lot of tubes. The Legos will always get the you sick fuck chance.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
No,
all the time. Because everybody has died. Like, you step on a Lego and your soul starts going out, and you got to be like, no, like, I'm not ready to go yet,
Yep. Dude, the one thing, one of my buddies told me, he watched one of the things. He was in the military with me, and he was like, "Have you ever done batteries?" And I was like, "No, like battery, like just dumping out like a bunch of AA batteries on the ground." And I was like, "Dude, I feel like that would be awkwardly like the most painful fucking experience of your entire life." Because it's like an oblong thing, but it's like enough to where like it's solid and it feels like something just hit you in the fucking kidneys.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, you could even do like the big fucking double D ones. And I was like, oh my God, dude. Ugh.
Wow. That's almost, I feel like it's almost like just releasing, like you pull out a bag from under the ring and it's like marbles. You know what I mean? So everybody's got to try not to like fucking do like a Three Stooges. And you know what I mean?
You might have just fucked around and gave me an idea for the circus.
Bag of marbles. Hey, a lot cheaper than Legos, because every time I see Legos, I'm like, you rich fuck.
No, dude, I swear, real talk. Shout out to Don Holland. This dude, at one point, he came up to me with a fucking, it's like 5-pound Tupperware box of Legos and was like, here, dude. And I was like, what, dude? Are you kidding me? And I used them in my match with Jason. It was then Jason Page, but now Jason Hotch. And we did like a street fight. If you haven't seen that, go see it. It's a very good match. It's on YouTube.
What was the match again?
Myself versus Jason Hotch, I believe, is what it's under. If it's not Hotch, it's Page. But we did a bunch of shit in that one. But I dumped out this entire thing of Legos, and we started. He like dumped me onto him, and then I took over, and he was like trying to spread him out of the center of the ring, and I was like, no, and I pushed him back into the center. I was like, you wanted him in here, and I was the one that dumped him, and someone in the crowd was like, you were the one that dumped him, and I was like, fuck off.
Man,
wow.
It's every time I see the Legos, I'm like, and then they just sweep them under the ring. I'm like, no, bring. That's too much money. Like that million Lego match that I always talk about.
Oh yeah, I finally watched that. Did I tell you that?
No.
Yes, I finally watched it.
Have you seen this, Tommy?
No, I'm gonna have to watch that.
It's on ICW. I know it's on IWTV. I send it to everybody we talk to.
Yeah,
interspecies wrestling. I forgot what it's called. They did like a million Lego block death match, and it was just like weapons.
I mean, it really was probably around 1 million Lego pieces. There were so many, dude. Like
Jeff Cannonball, Kennedy Copeland, Orrin Veidt. It was like a 4-way, and
there was a dinosaur in that match too. There was the one guy that was a dinosaur, right?
Yes, there was a dinosaur in that match too.
So crazy that there's actually because there's a couple dinosaurs in wrestling right now that are like wandering around. Like,
and I'm still waiting for the Mummy to come back. So
oh, dude, it's coming. It's got to. Like he'll just randomly poke up, dude. That's how that works.
You wrestled him once.
Did you see in Horror Slam when they used to have the Mummy running around?
Yeah, I wrestled. I think I wrestled him a couple of times. I don't know if we ever like mixed it up a lot, but yeah, he was. That was in my early days. I was still coming out with the V for Vendetta mask and shit.
Oh, when Francis and I first started going to Horror Slam, our first show we saw the Mummy, and that was it. We're like, oh shit! Like, I mean, that was literally the first thing that even happened. We're like, I wonder what kind of wrestling show it's gonna be. And a fucking Mummy comes out, dude.
I fucking love it, dude. I fucking
Michigan,
love
man.
It. That shit's a vibe, dude.
The fucking Mummy, man. I just messaged you I just sent you the event that had the Lego match if you wanted to see it.
But oh fuck yeah! Hell yeah!
But it was probably the most expensive death match I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, I don't doubt it.
So, well, there's a couple things that I want to touch on before we get to the finale and stuff. I actually wanted to sidetrack about the special little plant that we both like. I talk about that to some people, and I never really get a chance. Are you an indica or are you a sativa guy?
Dude, so I'm like a weird vibe, if I'm being honest. Like if I gotta do shit, I like an indica, which is weird. But if I'm chilling and just relaxing, I like a sativa. And I think my reason is when I'm doing shit, the indica like helps me focus. It like brings me down and like narrows my focus. But when I'm chilling, I like to just like get my thoughts going, and the sativa helps me get my shit going. And then I'm like, yo, what if I did a backpack cannonball into a fucking spiderweb trampoline that was on fire, dude? That would be sweet. And then my girlfriend's like, no.
Is she a smoker as well?
Yeah, she dabbles with me.
Oh, awesome. Are you just a flower guy or are you a concentrate guy?
I'm kind of a little bit of everything. Like, I'm mostly a joint or blunt guy right now. It's just a good vibe. But, like, when I'm at shows and shit, most of the time guys have, like, the pens or a dab rig or something. So, like, I'll take a couple dab skis. Like, especially if the Dab King is on these shows, then I'm definitely doing some dab skis.
You ever get your hands on moon rocks?
No.
They're nugs dipped in oil and then rolled in keef, and it's such a heavy high, but that's kind of a I don't want to say a Detroit thing, but there's a lot of places in Detroit that have moon rocks. It would be worth trying for you.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
And then, have you ever tried any of the transdermal patches?
Yes, I actually did, and I'm not even gonna lie. I was in my head. I put it on, and I was like expecting it to be like instant.
Yeah,
and it like takes a second, but so I smoked a joint. I went outside and I was like, that shit's not working, and I smoked a joint, and then I went back inside, and I just like sat down. I can tell you everything. It was like I had an out of body experience. I was playing Uncharted 4. and I was like midway through a level. I just like set the controller down and like melted. And dude, I sat vacantly staring at the screen for like easy 30 minutes. And then I like snapped back into it. And it was like I was a newborn child. I was like, my body doesn't hurt. Like, what is going on? I could run a marathon right now.
I'm an indica guy. I had a sativa patch, and I discovered that if you put them on your the armpit or the feet, like it gets to the stream a little bit faster. Like I hurt my neck, and I kept putting it on my neck, and it really wasn't doing anything. Put it on my feet. Suddenly my neck started feeling better. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's kind of like Vicks Vapor Rub. If you put that shit on your feet, it helps your cough and shit.
But I put a sativa patch on, and I thought it was an indica patch, and I got like a whole fucking week's worth of errands done like in a day, like so fast. Like all these different places, did the laundry, folded it, put it away. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Like, spot cleaning in the kitchen. Finally got those spider webs that are high up. That fucking, I'm like, I'm gonna get that someday, you know. And fucking like, but I got a lot of shit done. Very productive.
I love that shit, dude. I love that shit.
Have you been smoking since you were younger?
No, honestly, I like dabbled when I was in high school and shit like that. Went into the military, obviously didn't do it when I was in the military. And then I came home, started wrestling, and shout out to Carm. I went over to his place. It was when I first like met him, and he was like, "Hey, dude, let's come over. We'll chill, watch some wrestling." And we were watching CM Punk John Cena 2011 Money in the Bank. And he starts rolling up a joint. And I was just like...
During a CM Punk match? That's amazing.
Dude, it was legendary. That's what... Dude, Karm is my motherfucker, dude. Like, I love that dude. Shout out to him again. But we rolled one up and we're sitting there smoking it. And I was like watching the match from a whole different perspective. Like... I was just like, yo, that was a cool thing he just did. And then I was like, yo, did I just notice that? What the fuck, dude? And he was like, I just remember he looked over at me like a few times and he was like, yeah, man. And that was when me and him became like bros instantly. But it wasn't until like probably 2018 that I like really picked up and started smoking a bunch.
Okay. Yeah, man, my family had to deal with that funny smell coming out of my room, and you know the Black Sabbath, and you know I got the long hair, and like dude. You know what the fuck do you think's going on, man? You know, you know what it is,
dude. Goddamn right.
Fran, do you want to get into the big two?
Let's do it. I've been shopping for bulk table salt this entire time, so
really.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Tommy, you better accept it. It truly is going to happen. Francis gets something in his head, and like, you know, it will happen.
It's got
man of my word, dude. I'll fucking do it. I don't give a shit.
It's got to be. I have to figure out if it's going to be against Bateman or Murdoch. So look for me shaking Morton salt at the ringside.
Dude, fuck it. Just get 2 bags of it, and we'll do it for one of each. Fuck it.
Oh man. Sorry to Bateman and sorry to Murdoch, man. You guys are getting fucked up, man.
25-pound bulk salt from Costco.
Jesus Christ.
That's dude. So much fucking salt, bro.
Wow.
That shit would hurt if it hit you at once, dude.
You just
fucking here comes a wheelbarrow. Spooky Dust has got the wheelbarrow, man. We're just bringing it up.
Oh shit!
I just picture myself just having this thing sit ringside all night with just a sack of salt waiting for your match to start.
Everyone's like
throw it up on his shoulder. It's fucking heavy, man. You know.
Yeah, dude, that shit will literally hit you like a fucking ton of bricks, man. Goddamn.
You get knocked down from the bag, and then you get salt poured all over you. So it's a 2-banger, you know.
Straight up, dude.
It gets used, and I just look over at the ring girl. I was like, I'm not cleaning that shit up.
Oh, dude, I'd love to see them sweeping that shit under the ring. That's just funny in and of itself, you know?
Get off your fucking strain of salt. Oh, shit, dude.
So, Tommy, we have 2 of our segments that these are like staples of our show, okay?
For sure.
You're a student of the game. You've been watching wrestling. You are in the world of deathmatch right now. We talk about the Mount Rushmore of deathmatch wrestling. So 4. It can only be 4. And I preface this all the time by saying some people consider it, they can only think of like modern, like they say, I hear Nick Gage, I hear Masada, I hear Tremont. Some people won't go any further without Terry Funk and Mick Foley being on the list. They say those 2 have to be on the list. Some people, like Remington Roar, he insisted that there's a couple Japanese guys and then a couple guys from Mexico. He just like he was like, I mean, I don't know what to throw on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had to have like Jun Kasai on there, and and then when we had Pondo on, he brought up Bruiser Brody. So without those type of brawling, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. So whatever it means to you, if it's throughout any type of hardcore to the most extreme death match, I want to hear your top 4.
It would definitely be Mick Foley, Terry Funk, 1 and 2.
Really?
Like those are my dogs, man.
When you said ECW, it's always the guys that say ECW. Like when Masada was one that he said ECW, and you can tell that was so influential. You know what I mean?
No, straight up. I would definitely say those 2. You got to throw Jun Kasai on there. It's kind of hard not to. And then, man, that last one's a tough one.
The last one gets everybody.
Yeah, everybody has it, dude. Like,
why you
like,
think about it?
Yeah,
your name got. Did you hear? You got brought up. You shared a list with Masada and Bateman and Akira.
Who said this?
Well, your father, D-Mac. But
that's fair. He knows the vibes, though. That's it. He knows the vibes. Fuck, dude. It's real hard because it's kind of a toss-up. Because I kind of want to say Nick Gage, but then you also have Masada right there. And, like, to me, those 2 dudes are, like, they can do it both. Like, they can
body
do it.
Body of work is so strong,
Dude, yeah. And it's like, but then you also got to think Mox had like a pretty good run where he was like pretty much like the king of that shit.
Yeah.
First time Moxie got brought up.
Right.
Fuck, dude. There's so many. Like JC Bailey.
No one's mentioned JC Bailey yet. We've heard Necro, both Abdullahs, Ian, Tremont, Mondo. Takeda.
Dude, for sure, Pondo would be in there. Fuck, dude, it's like you can't have 4. You got to have at least 5. Like, it's tough, bro.
Because you're from Michigan, I will allow you 5.
All right,
you can have 5. Yeah, and see, all right. So you get 5. Nobody else, Francis, unless they're from Michigan. Okay.
Okay. I mean, because the D-Mac had 5.
Dude.
So.
Yeah, well, right.
Dude, it's a toughie, man. Because, like, dude, there's just so many good names. I would probably have to say, for me personally, guys that, like, I've watched and like, I don't want to say, like, emulated, but, like, learned from their craft, it would have to be Gage and Masada. Like those 2, like, especially when you speak about, like, guys that are still doing it right now, that are, like, peak of it still. Like, they're... And like when I found out that I was going to be in a match with him, I literally like sat there looking at my phone and I was just like, this isn't real. Like, it's not April anymore, but this could be April Fool's. Like, I don't know. But and then like I walked in and saw him, and like, not to sound like a mark, but like for a moment I was just like, fuck. That's a legend right there. And then you like think, like, for me, because like guys, my like younger guy Mount Rushmore would have to be guys like Eric Ryan, the Duke, probably Cologne, like the dudes that are currently out there like fucking just destroying it, dude. Like
Cologne,
like,
Francis turned me on to Cologne, and like I had like a watch list, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I was like, I'm just not sure how I feel about him. And then after watching was it Tournament of Survival where he did the 3-peat, like ridiculous. How can you not be a fan? Like,
dude, I got introduced
people, dude.
I got introduced to Cologne at Rockstar Pro Wrestling in Dayton, Ohio. He wasn't even really
Sammy Callahan's league, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So he
I'm
wasn't even
Sammy
doing
Callahan
like the deathmatch shit.
It is what it is. Point.
Yeah, dude, he was just doing like bangers, and I just remember sitting there. I watched him and Jake Chris go out there and have a fucking classic, like called it all out there and shit. And I was just like, holy fuck! And then I started seeing like looking into Cologne a little deeper, and I was like, yo, this dude's a bad motherfucker. God damn, bro.
Yeah, been a huge Cologne fan since like the CCW days.
Dude,
like, yeah,
straight fuck, dude, yeah.
And that's what makes that question so interesting, right? Because when we discuss it, there you can go anywhere, right? Do you go to the legends? Do you look at the new people? Do you dabble in like, and then you got to like separate the actual body of work from just spots, right?
Yep,
you can have some good spots, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, 100%.
And again, not to discredit anyone, right? Like you look at someone like Joey Janela, right? What's the biggest thing he's known for, right? That fucking roof spot. Yeah. Does that make him like an awesome deathmatch guy? He just had a.
You don't have to say anything bad, but this is what the like, fans talk. We're definitely not trying to put you in a corner where you got to
I will say the match that him and Mox had, where he fucking took the thumbtacks in the feet and shit like that, like that was a fucking banger. I greatly enjoyed that match.
Yeah,
shout out to both of them for that.
Oh yeah, no, and that's like I definitely, and that's the conversation. And then you look at like someone like Thumbtack Jack. He didn't wrestle for a long time, but everything he did was fucking amazing.
That's so true, bro. That's so true. Fuck, dude, I didn't even think of New Jack, bro.
Oh, Francis, who was talking about New Jack? Was that Masada?
I think. Let me look at this list. Yeah, Masada only gave us 3 people: Sabu, New Jack, and Terry Funk.
Fuck, dude, I forgot about Sabu, dude.
Oh.
The dude taped his fucking bicep back in, bro. That dude's a motherfucker.
I showed that to my wife. We went for a walk, and I was talking about deathmatch wrestling, as I usually do. Yeah. And I was telling her about that, and I said, you know what, when we get home, I'm showing you that match. And I fucking got pirated hard drive after hard drive of pirated wrestling and shit. I torrent that the fuck out of the wrestling world. You know what I mean? And I was able to pull it up in like 5 minutes. I know exactly where it's at, the folder that it's in. I know the fucking match that it's in, the event and everything. And I pulled it up and I was like, no, watch. And she was like, okay. And I was like, no, you don't understand. This is what's happening. You see Fonzie? He's running to the back right now. No, wait a minute. Now he's coming back out with the tape. That's happening right now. Now watch, he takes the move, and I was like, you know what I mean?
Like, dude, legendary.
I'm still talking about it right now. Like
that's why that question is so interesting, because you mentioned Kasai, right? You went international, so that just opened up Ito, right? Like you, right? Takeda, and then you go back, Mr. Pogo, like.
Dude, and you got it. You honestly, like, Pondo raises a good point. Bruiser Brody's got to be in there too, man. Like. It's tough, bro.
Like when you start talking too about the older era, you know, I mean, you take somebody like Abdullah the Butcher, you know what I mean? And Abby was carving motherfuckers up. You know what I mean? Like scaring the shit out of people before Hulkamania was like really like running wild. You know what I'm saying? So people saw like, you know, the WWF, and I love the WWF from the 80s. You know what I mean? But when you see the NWA events and the sheep herders are fucking forking people in the fucking head. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, shout out Matt Tremont too, dude. That dude's taking so many forks and shit. Every time I see that, I'm like, oh my God, no.
I know you saw him get blown up at this last year, right?
Well, the fucking
with Onita?
Shit. What's that?
The Onita match on Halloween or whatever?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was so hyped for that, man. Like, fucking a good explosion. Are you good with explosions?
Honestly, I want to do one, dude. Like,
do you really, Tommy?
Yeah, man. Like, it's hard not to want it. Like, my whole thing is like, I always want, like I said earlier, like I'm all kind of about like legacy and like leaving people to where like in like 10 years they're sitting here and like my name's getting brought up and shit.
Hey, remember that night when Tommy Vendetta got blown the fuck up?
Yeah, and I mean, like, and I don't want to be like one of the guys that's like known for the spots and shit like that, but like I'd love to have like people be like, yo, he did this spot, but he's also like a dope ass wrestler, and like, because I mean, like my whole thing is like, fuck it, I'll try everything once. Like,
sure.
Why not? What's the worst thing that's gonna happen? I get a little bit burned. Okay, cool.
Right on.
We'll fucking put some Band-Aids on.
We had this conversation with Satu. He said he's down. Looks like we got to make it happen.
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's do it.
Tommy versus Satu in an exploding ring match.
Let's do it, dude.
Are we looking up explosives online too, or are we going to see if we can Costco
I
that
don't.
shit? What, Costco's be like, okay, so you guys are buying explosives and salt.
I'm
What
sure
are you about to do?
I'm already on a few lists, right? Like I can't open my Reddit and
Bro, you and me both, man.
You're approaching that no-fly list like so quickly.
Oh
Francis,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
It ain't for me. But no, it's an interesting topic, and I love hearing everyone's and it's a greater conversation. Like Dave and I have it all the time, and then it's like you can go in different avenues, right? Like you mentioned the wrestlers. Okay, greatest like spots, right? What's the top 5 spot? What's the like it just goes so many different places, dead or alive. And then you got to be careful as you answer it because you don't want to take away from people doing it right now.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
it's hard, man. It's hard.
And then next thing you know, fucking Vendetta is facing against Bateman, and he's like, "You filthy cunt! You didn't put me on your list, and you want to hit me with a 30-pound bag of fucking salt or whatever pounds are in Australia."
Yo, dude, big shout out to Bateman, bro. I fucking love that guy, man. He was the first time I ain't even gonna hold you up, man. When they told me I was wrestling him in Horror Slam, I was working at that day, so I was coming straight from work.
Oh, really?
Dude, yeah. So the entire drive to the show, I'm just like, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. Because I'm just like, I'm about to wrestle fucking Joel Bateman. What the fuck is my life, bro? And then I get there, and he was like, what's up, man? Like, fucking, let's just vibe it out. And we had a fucking banger. He was like, yeah, dude, just beat my fucking ass. I was like, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass, dude. And now I know he's
one of the nicest
guys. Shit out of me, though. He's gonna for sure kick the shit out of me now.
He's one of the nicest guys I have ever met in the world of deathmatch. So nice, so humble, like oozing blood everywhere, and taking like every opportunity to take a photo with anybody that comes up to him. You know what I mean?
Yep. Dude, he is genuinely like the sweetest human being.
Right.
He's also a sick cunt, but.
Right after you, he's probably the next person that we've been going back and forth with, working on just timing to do this.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude, for sure.
So that's going to be super exciting.
Hell yeah.
So, Tommy, this is the big segment that we have at the very end that we talk about.
Hit me with
Rand,
it.
do you want to bring it in?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. All right. So we talked about how long you've been wrestling, right? 5-6 years. If you can go back to the day of your very first match, right? We're talking, fucking, what was that? That was in 2018.
Yep.
Flushing, Michigan, just ready to hit the ring and give yourself any piece of advice. What would it be?
Ooh.
Knowing everything that you know right now.
Be yourself. Because I think when I first started, I was trying to put on a character. Because that's what everybody was saying. Like, you have to develop a character. You have to have a character. So I like put the little V for Vendetta mask on and like took it off. And I was like, I just remember like I went back like I think it was like last year we did like a watch along, and it's a quick match. It's like fucking 5 minutes, and I just remember sitting there watching it, and I was just like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, you can see little glimpses of like who I was, but I immediately would like get scared and put it back away because dude, I'm not even gonna lie to you, before wrestling I hated getting up in front of people, like doing fucking public speaking in classes, like any of that shit. I was awful at it. And then wrestling, for some reason, I was able to just go out there in my undies and do a bunch of crazy shit, and people were like, yo, that's sweet. And I was like, why is this okay? But I can't give a presentation in English class. Like, but dude, I would definitely have to say, just be yourself. Cause like in 2020, I just kind of like, we were doing backyard shows, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to go out there and have fun. And I was just myself. And a lot of people were like, yo, that's fucking hilarious. I love that you did that. That was badass. It was crazy you did this. And then I was just like, okay, like, maybe it's just whatever I'm feeling is what I should roll with, instead of trying to like think of something to roll with. Like, just go with what I feel. And I think that was kind of where I ended up becoming more of like you saw me in Tommy Vendetta type thing. Well, they merged into being one.
Wow.
That's definitely, man.
Holy shit.
So there it is. I mean,
man, I
philosophical
love
and shit, bro.
Wow.
Right? Tommy Vendetta. Like, throw it out there. Social media. Where can everyone find you?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. On Instagram, at Lovable Psychopath _DCA. On Twitter, at Tommy _Vendetta. I have a TikTok. I don't fucking know the name of it because I'm barely on there, but I'm going to try more.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, there he is.
Facebook. Just look up Tommy Vendetta. And I'm pretty sure I'm the only one on there. But, and then obviously ProWrestlingTees.com / Tommy Vendetta. Go show some support. I got some sick shirts on there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you want to hit me up on Venmo, it's
you're everywhere, so everybody's they're gonna see you because literally you are fucking so high profile right now.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
We have a rule where we don't kiss anybody's ass on the show, and but I mean you're legitimately deserving of all the accolades. I mean you're not even at the height of where you're of your game right now. That's what I'm trying to blurt out. You're only getting better, and you're already like on so many different people's radar. So, man, you're the shit right now.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
You up about your everything Masada said about you, Tommy Vendetta. I'm gonna throw it out there right now. The next Horror Slam Deathmatch champion.
100%,
big time. So we don't really have a way of ending things. The Rev gave us a way of ending things, but the Rev said we should be like, "See you in hell." But I'm not sure if we're gonna rock that or not. We might.
That sounds like him.
Yeah.
But hang tight with us, okay?
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate you guys. You have a good night.
No, I appreciate you coming on our show and everything. And we usually just say, "Peace the fuck out, motherfucker."